You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live. Next, featuring intimate and in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood's next edition of stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live. Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, next.
Welcome to another edition of BHL Next. As always, I am your host, Megan Thomas, and the song that you're hearing right now is by Emily Sandy, Heaven, and it's on a new movie that's coming out, or that just came out, Drumline 2, Drumline A New Beat. And we have a special person who is connected to that movie, but we'll tell you about that in a second. Who are you guys?
I'm Kiki, Ayers.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I am Cortez G. West.
And as always, we always have amazing guests that are up and coming, or who are next up in the industry. Today we've got a director, and he's directed your favorite movie, your favorite music video, your favorite whatever. You've seen his work before. Give it up for the one and only Bille Woodruff. What's up, Billy? By the way, your name is spelled B-I-L-L-E. Is that your real name?
I'm so happy you said that. That is how I spell it. I spell it different. It's a nickname for William.
Oh, because I always wondered that. I was like, are you just doing that? Is that like your stage name, or is that really how you spell it?
Well, that's how I spell it. I've spelled it that way since, I started spelling it that way when I was 15 and 8 months, when I got my first car, and I wanted my name on a license plate. And I thought I was going to be famous. So I was going through the ways I could spell. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's different.
Right. It is. It is very memorable. Yeah. So what we do in the show, obviously, we talk about what's next going on in the world. So we're going to start it off with talking about what's next in casting. So this week it was released, the cast list for the new movie Warcraft, which is, it's World of Warcraft, right? Is that okay? Yeah, but it's called Warcraft. Which, by the way, Billy, I looked on your Instagram, and you're a big fan of World of Warcraft, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
How many hours a day do you play?
I was playing before I came here, actually. I had to look at because they have a new expansion that just came out at midnight on Thursday, and so you level. It's now 10 new levels that you have to level up. And so I'm behind all my guild members because I've been busy working. So I was trying to put in a little time, and I was like, I can at least get to 91. I was almost there, but I looked at the clock and I had to leave.
Brandy plays too, as well?
Brandy plays, yeah. We talk to each other on there. Yeah.
Well, the movie's going to come out, and guess who is one of the lead characters? Paula Patton, y'all. Paula Patton is going to play, what is her name, Garana? Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know who. I think they made a different. I don't know who Garana is. I don't know the storyline that they're using.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many storylines.
Right.
And I've been very curious about what they decided to do. And I knew about Paula doing this for many months, and I was wondering. I didn't want to ask her though, because we're friends. But I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get into it because I'm kind of salty that I'm not directed the movie.
Oh, don't worry. I'm sure there'll be many more Warcraft movies that you'll get to direct. So of course, Warcraft is slated to be released March 11th, 2016, and you can look forward to seeing Paula Patton next in Mission Impossible 5. Which, by the way, I'm a big Mission Impossible fan. Do you watch Mission Impossible as well, or do you like those movies?
Yeah, I love the Mission Impossible movies, and I thought Paula Patton was great in the one that she was in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. So we'll see her soon. And now in Warcraft, your other favorite movie that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, I'm not going to be salty because, Paula's in it, and and I'm not really that kind of person anyway. But
Good.
But I'm so addicted to the game that I did wish that I was directing it.
Okay.
Well, do you think Paula's going to be good in it?
I think Paula will be good. I mean, based on what she did in Mission Impossible, a lot of people, are kind of like, well, what's Paula Patton, doing in it? But I think, like I said, we have no idea what the storyline is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there's so many different kinds of characters in that movie in that world, in that game, with so many different kinds of powers. I mean, so many different things. I think she'll be amazing. Paula's great.
Oh, yeah. She'll do good.
And she's very athletic, and beautiful, obviously. She'll do great.
So we're going to put it out there that you direct in the next one.
Yeah.
The next. All right, Kiki, what's going on in the world of music?
In music, there's this new guy named Kyle. He's not really new, but he's really just breaking into music. And I love finding new artists because I swear I'm the first one to be like, Drake was going to blow up, and he blew up. And this was back when we had Singing Drake. I was like, oh, that's the one from figure I think he's gonna be big. Same thing with Chris Brown. His
Oh,
video.
so you making people's career basically.
I just know what's hot and what's not. So that's all I'm saying. I called it from a young age. I was just like, yo. So I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be dope. He's 21 years old. He's from Ventura, California. He also goes by the stage name Kid, K-I-D, which stands for Kyle is Determined. So I think he's gonna be dope, and we're gonna play a little bit of his video that's out right now. We're playing it on Revolt. He's also playing on MTV and BET as well. So.
Oh, nice.
What's that? Oh, damn it, baby, you bad. Yeah. Heard you got a boyfriend. That's cool, girl. Where is he at? Ooh, he fucked up. You lucked up. You done ran to the motherfucking man. Look, I make you my babe for the day. You should be happy I'm giving you back. Cause I can make you wifey for a week. We can spend a weekend in Japan. Then you want fuck with my Aki Chin. Tell him they'll get fucking Jackie Chan. Honestly, I'm better as your boy. I'll be kinda shitty as your man. Let's go back to only being friends. Sorry, girl, I hope you understand this. Just nope. That's right. So
he's a great artist. Clearly, he makes a terrible boyfriend. But you should support him. You guys can find him at superdopekyle.com or Instagram and Twitter at superdopekyle.
What do you now?
Super duper Kyle, sorry.
Billy, you've directed a lot of music videos. What do you think of this video as far as the cinematography, how things were going on in there, the different scenes?
I had a big smile on my face when I was watching it because it reminded me, it took me back to like the days before I was really directing, videos, but like De La Soul, Jazzy Jeff, and I thought that was exciting. It was humorous, it was fun. They obviously didn't have a lot of money, but it seems like it's really interesting because he's an interesting character, and you want to see the story. I want to know what happens in it, because you can see that he's going to be doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So I think that whoever directed it did a good job, probably from what I saw, and I'm definitely interested in the artist. I think you're probably right.
And I like the song. The song is pretty dope, too. He gives me
the sample.
A mind of Kid and Play and Drake.
Kid and Play, yeah.
Nice.
Kid and Play and Drake.
I did. I see the Drake.
You just took it way back. Kid and Play. All right. Cortez, what's the next big thing?
Well, it's not the next big thing. It's this game that I want to play. We want to get you to have a guessing game, my man. So this is game. This is this is a game. It's called Name Who's That Film on Film.
What?
So who's that film? F-E-M on film. F-I-L-M.
Who's that film? On film. Got it.
All right. So you're gonna listen to this audio, and you're gonna guess that actress and the movie.
Okay.
All right. So here's the first one. Let's get the first one.
My kid. Wait a minute. I give you 11 fucking years of my life, and you're telling me that you're leaving me for a white woman?
It'd be better if she were black.
No, it'd be better if you were black.
Angela Bassett
and what's the movie?
As Waiting to Exhale? No.
Yes,
it is.
No, you gotta say no.
Look.
I give you 11 fucking years of my life, and you're telling me that you're leaving me for a white woman?
Yes. Okay.
Epic.
No, it'd be better if you were black.
What did you think when that movie came out?
Oh, it was just, I just loved the film, and I was working at BET at the time, I think, if I remember correctly, and I had, interviewed Terry McMillan, about her work before she had done the movie, so I was just excited, I was excited to see all those actors and actresses doing it, and the movie be so big, and it's just amazing that time, really influenced me in what I do.
Okay, let's get the next one. Let's get a little bit more volume on that as well.
Do I get something for you?
Yeah, at the end, like, see how many, see how many you get.
Strawberry did it.
Let's play the next one.
All my life I had to fight.
That's all you need right there. End it right there. Billy, you lose. Right, because you will lose your black card if you do. All my life I had to fight.
Oprah Winfrey color purple.
Lose your purple card.
No, that's the easy one. This one, I don't know if you're gonna get this one, but I really want you to. I'm gonna see.
At least I got two.
We had two. Okay, we're gonna see how you get this one. Are we ready?
For this strap. Why is no one ready?
Here.
Let's play that again. I think it was cut off at the beginning.
Where are the belts for this strap? Why is no one ready?
Here.
Where are the belts for this strap? Why is no one ready?
I have no idea.
Oh!
It might be my movie and I don't even remember. I don't know.
Let's play it.
Where are the belts?
You know what?
Go.
Yeah, I should have.
Because that was the main.
I should have known from the ready.
Yeah.
But that's harder. But she always says, "That's all."
Yep. Meryl Streep. Yes, Devil Wears Prada.
Yes.
Okay, the last one. Now this one is a classic. One of my faves. Let's hear that one.
No, what?
Mommy Dearest. John Crawford.
You automatically know that one. Right. So you get your prize when we leave.
Okay. What did I get?
You got 3 out of 4, man. So that's good. Go. See, that's a good director. Great.
That is a great director. Well, let's get into your life, Billy. Let's talk about you because that's the reason we're here. We're going to talk about your past. Yes. I know. You got an eye roll.
I'm living in the now.
You like
So how was it growing up in Denver, Colorado, especially being in a military-oriented family?
Well, you know, I was born in Denver, Colorado, and I was a military brat, but I was basically born there, and then we moved to Germany, then Paris, then London. Wow. And I was very young still. Right. And then we moved back to Richmond, where my family's really from, Virginia. So I came over to Richmond. I was, by the time I was in elementary school, I was in Richmond. And I had a British accent that they teased me so bad about that I can't even fake one now. So I really grew up in Virginia.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had a British accent?
I did. I can't fake one now, though. It was traumatizing. Those kids, man. You know how it is.
Oh, yeah. What was it like living overseas for you?
It was great. I've been over many times since then. And, my father was in the Air Force, but he played saxophone. And he played with a bunch of bands, a bunch of different jazz cats in different places over there. And he'd always take me with him. And I think that influenced me in what I do, now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So how were you as a child? Were you, shy and observant or talkative and outgoing?
You give me shy,
my
man.
parents, my parents, I definitely would not shut up. I was very talkative. I was only child, so growing up. I have a brother, but he came way later. Right. And so I grew up as only child. So I was always very talkative, making friends, talking to people, very gregarious, very old for my age, but not in an obnoxious way. I don't think. I never heard that.
An old soul.
Right.
Yeah, well, I knew a lot.
Nice.
I was the opposite, but which movies did you watch growing up that kind of inspired you to be a director that were your all-time favorites?
Sparkle and Mahogany, because I hadn't really seen, and Fame, I hadn't really seen African Americans, that way before, for me, and how old I was. And I used to go to the theater, I'd go and see it over and over again. And when I saw Lynette McKee and Irene Cara, I just remember it influenced what I did in music videos, because they just were so beautiful. And the story was powerful to me. And when I saw Mahogany and seeing Diana Ross as this character who came from the projects, and she had this, dream, and I paint, and I thought I was going to be an artist, I thought I was going to be a fashion designer, I thought I was going to be a politician, a bunch of things. But there were things in there that I was drawn to because I drew it and I painted. And seeing that she went overseas and went to Italy, and that she became this big, influential kind of model and did something with it. Right. She actually wanted to design. She wanted to do more than just, be a pretty face. That really, impacted me, and I wanted to do things like that. And I didn't really realize it back then, but in looking back on it, I know that those are the things that actually they sat in my head because I see things in my work now that relate back to those old movies. Yeah.
I'm glad you talked about that because I wanted to ask you, was there ever a time you wanted to do something else and you just thought about all those things? Was there anything that you actually pursued?
Well, I wanted to be, this is so vapid, but I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a star. I was in a bunch of music groups, and I was punk rock band, R&B band. So I wanted to be a singer all through elementary school, junior high school, and somewhere I think around the 11th grade, my voice kind of changed in a different way, and it wasn't working, went flat. So I thought I was going to be a singer, and then I thought I was going to be an actor. And so those are the things that I thought first, and I thought I'd be a writer, so I definitely didn't grow up thinking I would be a director. I was lucky enough when I got to college to find out all these different ways that I could combine the things that I liked by directing, because I liked art and fashion, music, writing, cultural anthropology. Zora Neale Hurston's one of my heroes. Mm-hmm. And so it's a way to combine all of those things. And I was just very, very lucky because I started interning at Black Entertainment Television when they were very small. Mm-hmm. And that's when I kind of figured it out, because I was like, oh, wow, I could do this and this, and this brings everything together. So, I was just lucky to kind of find out hands-on. But I definitely didn't know when I was, man, I even remember talking to the guidance counselor in college and being like, how am I ever going to get out of school? Because I keep changing my major. I was like, I'm not going to have enough credits in anything. And I was a National Merit Scholar, but and had a full academic scholarship. But I just wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. And I used to really envy people. Like one of my best friends, she's at OBGYN that I went to school with. She has a great, successful practice in Baltimore now. But she always knew that's what she wanted to do, so she was going through school. She knew what she wanted to do. One of my other really close friends, he was a mechanical engineering major, but I messed that up for him. He's a VP at BET now. But he knew that's what he wanted to do, but he had all these other interests, and I kind of curved him in another way. But I was always very kind of jealous of the people that knew exactly what they wanted to do, because I didn't know exactly. I knew that I wanted to impact people, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to do that.
Well, it sounds like you were going to be creative no matter which way you went. So I know you went to the University of Maryland, and you talked about interning at BET, which is corporate office. The headquarters is in D.C.
Yeah.
So were you interning there, or would you go to New York?
Well, actually, they weren't. They had, when I was there, it was so far back, they didn't have anything in New York. They didn't have New York. Okay. Yeah, everything was in, the corporate offices were in Georgetown, and then we were actually, when I first started there, they were leasing space out of a local television station. And it was not really big at all. Okay. And, then by the time I got hired and all of that, they had studios which were in Northeast, by the railroad tracks over there. Yeah. And they had a studio. And then they moved to New York, but that happened way after I had left and moved to Atlanta to work at LaFace Records.
Wait, you live in Atlanta?
Yeah.
What year? What was that?
I don't know. It was. I went to run the music. I'm bad with remembering the dates, but it was when TLC. I was there with. I ran a music video department, so nice. I oversaw the stuff like Waterfalls, and when Outkast was actually Southern Playalistic, but they weren't getting played on MTV and all that stuff like that time. Whenever that was late 90s or something.
Right, the heyday of good music in Atlanta. Yeah. Oh, by the way, so when you were at University of Maryland, you were an anthropology major?
Yeah, what happened was that cultural anthropology is something that I was, became very interested in because of discovering Zora Neale Hurston. Okay. And I switched my major to double major in art and cultural anthropology once I was deeply immersed in everything at BET, because I was studying radio, television, and film, but I started feeling like I was getting way more experience on the job, at BET, and it was something else I was really interested in, and I thought I'd be able to fall back on it if I needed to, number one, because my dad was always like, dude, I'm telling you, the entertainment thing, don't do it. But he's like, follow your dream, but he's like, it's going to be rough. I'm telling you, I'm not going to totally discourage you. And but he was like, I'm telling you, it's going to be rough. So in the back of my mind, I was like, I could always fall back on this maybe, and it was just something I was very passionate about, and I actually just, following my instincts, which I guess was God speaking to me, I had no idea how much that actually would be useful in what it is that I do. Because cultural anthropology is the study of living groups of people. Right. And, when you're making a film or telling a story, you're interacting with people, you have to understand things and break it down and know what you're, trying to get across and how people are going to respond or how you can affect people. So I found it to be very useful in what I do, and art as well, so it's part of it.
All right. How was your experience at UMD?
Oh, man, it was great. That was a wonderful school. I wanted to go to Columbia, and my parents were like, you're not going to New York because you're just going to party. And I ended up going to New York every weekend anyway when I go with my friends. We drive up and party. But Maryland was kind of a big party school as well as academic school. But,
still is.
Yeah, so, I had a great time. But when I first went there, it was, like I said, had been on all these bands, and I was from Richmond, Virginia, and I was in a punk rock band right before I went there. I was a Prince groupie. I had my hair I looked like Prince. I had long hair. Coming down over one side, and I wore spikes and all of that stuff. And so when I first got there, it was interesting. It was like one of those movies you see, because I remember the first time I went into the dining hall to eat, and I sat my tray down, everybody got up.
Really?
Everybody just because it was like I was a weirdo or a freak, and I wasn't used to that, because I thought I was coming up north, and people were, cooler. But no, it was my first couple of months were difficult. And but then everybody started loving me, but whatever. Yeah, had a good time there.
So how do you feel like your internship at BET really shaped your career now?
It was my real college. Mm-hmm. I was just very lucky because I was there when I was small, and Bob Johnson, Jeff Lee, who was the vice president then, Jamie Foster Brown, who has Sister to Sister magazine, she was the person that I interned for first. She was a producer there on Video Soul. And I actually, when I went to interview for the internship, you know, because they were small, so I could hear, like I was sitting in the waiting room area, but I could kind of hear her because it was like a bullpen kind of setup then. And I heard her on the phone, and I knew she was talking about booking an interview with Andre Simone, who was a bass player for Prince. And so I'm in there like, okay, I just got to work with that lady. Because she's setting up, and I could just hear her making these moves, and I just wanted to, you know, she had this energy about her. And whatever I said, somehow I ended up being able to intern for her. And just learned a lot, you know, there from her and all the people that I work with, and that was really like my college. Yeah, definitely.
I interned at BET too, and I love it, but I kind of hate it now because they pay their interns. I was like, I used to like start, used to like jump over. They pay their interns now.
Oh man, everybody thought I was crazy because they were like, "You're putting in all these hours for free," and I was like, "Well, you know, it's a wonderful, which it was, wonderful opportunity, and it paid off." But yeah, definitely was not getting paid.
BET then came up. Came up.
Jeez.
So of course, while you were at BET, you moved up through the ranks from intern. I like to say from intern to president. I mean, it's not.
Well, to executive producer, specials, and original program.
Yes, we'll say that. Same thing. And so then you started doing EPKs and music videos for up and coming artists.
Yes.
Why did you transition into that?
Well, you know, it was kind of like what I was doing because I'd go out and I'd figured out that I wanted to direct. And so I had moved away from so much because I started in the music. But when they hired me, I took the gig on a show called This Week in Black Entertainment, which was kind of like what you guys do. It was like Entertainment Tonight, you know, as an entertainment magazine format, because I knew that I could go on sets of movies. You know, I would do stuff with Dance Theater of Harlem, different plays, different things, and I just found it to be, you know, a wider variety of things because I could still cover music as well. I started learning that what I was doing was the same thing that, you know, people were doing outside, and I wasn't making that much money, so I wanted some stuff. I needed some supplemental income as well, so I started, you know, I had these great relationships in music. I was just so lucky to be there when I was because I got to interact with so many wonderful, talented, amazing, you know, music people, and I had these great relationships. So I started doing the EPKs, and then through that I got a chance to do my first music video.
Which was what?
It was for a group you want. It was a group called.
Don't test us now.
Oh, you're not gonna know. I mean, I love this group. I'm not saying it did this them, but it was just a different time. And just, interestingly enough, some of that kind of music is now back. But it was a group called Blaze out of Jersey.
Oh no.
No, I know you don't know. But Blaze had a song called "We Almost Live Together," and it was like a blending of like house music and a little bit of hip hop.
Okay.
Soul. And actually, the lead singer of that group, his brother is Vincent Herbert, who, you know, manages Lady Gaga and is Tamar Braxton's husband. But he was he was in a group. He was in groups too back then. So, but anyway, it was Blaze. That was my first video.
Okay.
The first big video I did was for Sounds of Blackness.
Sounds of Blackness.
Optimistic.
Yes.
When you did your very first music video for Blaze, what did you think after it was done? Did you think like I'm going to be a director, or were you just like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna do this?
Oh no, I was so excited. I loved every moment of it. I still remember it. I remember everything about it, and I was just excited. And it was like you are addicted to something. It was just like I knew that I had, you know, my prayers have been answered. That I had found what I was supposed to do, and I had the opportunity, you know, to really do it because. You know, you can take so many. For me, like I said, I was really serious. You know, I wanted to do big things, but I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do. So in the back of my mind, I always had this fear, like I've wasted that time. You know, I should have been. Maybe I should have. You know, because I was interested in politics as well. I was the first African American page for the Lieutenant Governor of Virginia back when I was there in high school. I had a bunch of different interests, and so that happened, and I knew, like from that was the moment when I knew that I definitely had taken, you know, the right path.
Right. So of course, since then you've directed, you know, a few music videos for Nas, Britney Spears, Outkast, Aaliyah, Trisha Yearwood, Enrique Iglesias, Lil Wayne, everybody, R. Kelly, everybody and their mama, essentially. And so out of all the videos that you've ever done, what do you think sticks out to you as one of your more favorite videos?
You know, it's interesting. I had a bit of a unique situation in that for a certain period of time, I was running the music video department at LaFace, so I was very close with certain artists, with all the artists there because of what I did, and I was directing at the same time too. So having a chick like Toni Braxton always sticks out in my head because we've been friends from the moment that we met, and I'd been supporting her when she first came out because I was at BET, and I had a good relationship with Ellie and Babyface, and they called and they're like, oh, we have this thing, you know, this new artist, and it's from the Boomerang soundtrack, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so I met Toni, and she's from the DMV, I was from the DMV, and so I'd always kind of been part of her career, and then to actually get to work with her when I first started working there, was wonderful, and I was executive producing her videos. But then when, you know, You're Making Me High happened, and she came to me and said, you know, well, you should direct the video. And I remember I said, really? She was the biggest, she was the hottest thing out there at the time. And I was like, me? You know? And I was like, don't say that just because we're friends. But, you know, the work that I've done with Tony really does stand out as some of my favorite stuff because she trusted me so much. And also because of my position at the label, I didn't really have anyone in between us. So I was able to totally be as creative as I wanted to be. And so I would, you know, come up with the outfits, you know, the hair, everything. I was very close to her and able to kind of create this image that I saw. So the things that I did for her, those are like some of my favorite things. It's for Chico DeBarge as well, because it's a similar situation where, you know, I got to really have him believe in me and I could do things over a period of time, you know, like more than one video and come up with these images that I really, really love. But there's a lot of stuff I love, you know, like Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On sticks out as one of my favorites, you know, because she's an awesome person and it was a great moment, a great video.
You've just done some amazing, like, and when you were talking about Toni Braxton's You're Making Me High, I immediately saw the video. That's how good you did, because there's not a lot of videos that I can recall like that. And I'm seeing like every single scene in that video. So high five to you.
Thank you. But I did want to say that like it was a unique situation, because I think a lot of times directors have great ideas, but it's just hard when there are a lot of people involved sometimes, because everyone might not totally get your idea, or someone may come in, because I was changing her whole image, you know, and so somebody else could have been like, what do you mean you're going to have her in a Joan Jett wig and a white cat suit? You know, and at the time also, because her hair was like straight and black, then her hair was like curly and long, which now, of course, is not a big deal. But back then, that was a big deal, because regardless of whether it was a wig or a weave, for black women, your hair was supposed to be as if that was still really your hair. You didn't really talk about if it was a weave. And you didn't, you know, so anyway, it's like things like that that seem small now, but they actually were big deals that allowed, and being that close allowed me to kind of do my whole vision. And a lot of times directors don't get to do that.
So you're blessed.
Yes.
You're super blessed. And so
not all the time. I was in those moments, yes.
So then, of course, as you're talking about going to LaFace Records, what made you go from BET to LaFace, which was like an actual record label?
Yeah, you know, actually, I thought I had everything planned out. And I tell this story a lot because I want to help any young people or people that are out there trying to figure out their path and what they're doing. I had everything figured out. Nothing ever went the way that I thought it was going to go. Through my relationships and what I had been doing and doing all these interviews with people, I had a really good relationship with Eddie Murphy and at the time, and Wesley Snipes. And so, because I always interview them on the sets of their movies and do these specials. And so I got these gigs where, because I found out like that the people that would do what I was doing for the movie companies, the EPK for the movies, that was like a ton of money to me at the time. I was like, oh wow, like you just do this one thing. I was like, I can live out there for a year. So I lined up. There was a movie that Wesley Snipes was doing, and he hooked it up to where, you know, I could do the EPK for that, and there was another one Eddie Murphy was doing. So I was like, I can live for 2 years, you know, and I'm gonna move. I found my place in New York because I was living in DC, and I was like, I'm gonna move to New York. I'm gonna do this, have my company doing this, and you know, I'll leave BT and start doing this and get into the film business that way. And I thought the studios would see how talented I was, and I'd meet everyone and get my way into directing movies that way. Within a week and a half of both of those of each other, both of those things fell apart, and I spent the money for the Wesley one already, the upfront money, and I was like, I don't have the money to give it back. I love him to this day because somehow he worked it out to where I didn't have to pay the money back, and but they just fell through, so I couldn't move to New York, and I was like, oh man, I don't know what to do, and I got a call from LA and Babyface, and they were like, would you be interested in coming to run our music video department? And things, you know, I had it was great for me at BET, but I just realized that I had kind of reached creatively, you know, I had reached the peak of where I could really go. And it was a little bit of a difficult decision because I had this wonderful job. I created Caribbean Rhythms with Rachel Stewart, where I could go to every island, and I love the islands. And Jamaican food and West Indian food is my favorite in the world. You know, and I could go and do this, and I had, you know, gotten my first house, and I loved DC. But I just wasn't really satisfied, and I knew I wanted to make movies. So I took that gig thinking that I was going to convince LA and Babyface to do movies. And I had kind of given up on music videos directing-wise because I had hit a ceiling there, too, where I couldn't get over this kind of semi-low budget range. And so I was a little bit disillusioned with that as well. And I was like, you know what, bump all of this. I'm going to do movies. And but I took that because I do love music, and I like working with other directors. So I said, I'll come down there, and I'll oversee getting the music videos made, but I'm going to convince these dudes to make movies because I was like, they got bank, they can do it. And so I didn't realize how hard it is to work at a label. So I went down there and I took the job, and I did, you know, it was just so all encompassing, and it was wonderful. Well, wonderful at first. There was a learning curve, but yeah, it ended up, you know, being a great opportunity because I ended up having to direct a music video for Tony Rich Project because there was a video done that LA didn't like. And I still like the other one, but I like mine too. But I ended up having to direct it, and it took off, and he won Best New Artist at the Grammys, and it just, you know, started my career over as a music video director, where I got to direct videos with a budget.
Right.
And so then I took that and moved out to LA and started my own production company and got Honey and all of that. But yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about your first directorial debut on the big screen, Honey, which I love that movie, and I didn't know. I thought Jessica Alba was black, y'all, for the longest time.
I did too.
Kind of black.
In that movie, right? I was like, oh, she's black, she's mixed. No, she's not mixed like me. I thought she was black like
Well,
me.
her mom, who's, you know, white and got blonde hair, her favorite movie is Fridays, and she can quote every line from it.
Wait,
That
her
is
mom?
hilarious.
Her mom. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Her mom's the G. I love her.
Right.
to see her.
Kathy Alba.
Okay. So that movie made what, gross 60 million worldwide at the bottom end, and what was it like for you to actually do something on the big screen and to see your work on in a movie theater and say, wow, I did that?
Man, the first time I remember when Honey came out, Jessica and I, because, you know, we became very close, you know, doing the movie, but we just went to every theater. We just kept going and going and going to see it over and over again because it was just so amazing to me. It's wonderful to see it on the big screen. There's nothing like that. But the biggest thing for me is seeing the audience. You know, just being there and seeing the audiences react to stuff that you know, was basically like a blank page, and you know, put it together and you did it and you thought it might work this way or work that way. Seeing the audience react to it, I just never get sick of that with any of my films. It always feels amazing, and I always get a little sad when I know the movie's kind of, now it's going away, you know?
Right.
Like, because I'm like, oh, I guess I can't go see it anymore. You know, like, because when Addicted came out, I really wanted to see Gone Girl. And I was kind of mad because I was like, you know what? I was like, okay, no, I wanted to see Gone Girl, but that didn't open my weekend. It was Dracula that was opening my weekend, which I love those kinds of movies. And I was kind of like, oh man, you know what? I was like, if this wasn't my movie, I would probably be going to see Dracula, you know, but I wouldn't go. It was all these things I wanted to see, but I kept wanting to see my movie.
Right.
I just saw Gone Girl finally last night.
It was good, isn't it? It's good.
Men have a different perspective on it. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
I thought that the lead actress was amazing. She's a beast.
Yes.
Yeah,
she's brilliant.
Yes.
I just wasn't. Maybe I went too late too, because it was like the 10:50 show.
Were you falling asleep?
Almost a little at one part. That had nothing to do with it. That's not the movie's fault. That's just it was late. It's a good movie. Definitely not. But I just didn't feel the way that everybody else felt.
It was too hyped. People hyped it up too much.
And maybe that's what happened. Because she's crazy. She's a beast.
Right.
The lead actress, I'm sorry I can't remember her name, but she's great. And the movie's great. Who am I to say? I mean, you know, look, it was a great movie. It's just that I think it was overhyped, maybe. Yes, definitely.
No, I feel
and also because I don't remember that story in the news totally. It's in the back of my mind. And so the ending to me, I think that's why, because I was going, well, wait a minute. Well, what happened? I was like, so did he stay? Well, like, how do we know the story? How do we know it's a true story? Like, when did he tell, you know, I don't. You know, and it was too late for me. When I got home, I went to sleep, so I didn't go online and find out. I mean, do you guys know? I mean, what he ended up breaking up with her and then telling what really happened. Like,
I don't even know.
But
for
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, well, in the movie, he was kind of like, all right, well,
right, that's it.
Well,
I'm here.
So I'm glad.
They're together. They're together.
I won't go see it.
At the end.
No, you should still see it. Just don't go see it really late.
Got it.
Yeah.
And she is a beast, and it will.
Yeah,
and people love it, I'm sure, because of the plot twist and everything else.
yeah.
Right.
And you know.
So whenever you put out a movie, is that what you do? You just go to every theater you can and watch it multiple times over and over again, bring different people with you?
I'll even go by myself because you know, people get tired of seeing it. My friends, they've already, you know, he's gonna call it again. He's gonna probably want to go see it. You know, so I try to go. The people that will still go with me, I do.
Okay, this is so.
And I avoid the internet and all the stuff and all the shady things people say. I don't try to pay any attention to it.
Okay, good. Do you bring in snacks when you go to the movie theater?
When I'm trying to be healthy, I do. See, I'll go and I love popcorn, I love Twizzlers or Red Vines and whatever, and gummy bears and stuff. But like, yeah, sometimes I'm on a healthy kick. I'll bring a backpack with like, you know, air popped popcorn, organic popcorn, and you know, whatever. But.
Bringing in your own snacks.
But I don't sit there and eat like ribs and fried chicken and stuff. Some of my friends do that, but I don't do that.
I
can't really eat like that unless you had like a fork and spoon or something.
Oh, that is true.
Exactly,
That is true. So then you also directed Beauty Shop, which I love because you had everybody in there from Queen Latifah, Kevin Bacon, Jaimin Hunsu, Andy McDowell, a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So what was it like to do that movie? Because it was very diverse. That was probably, it seems to me like in your career, you've progressed to a place where you're very inclusive, different types of races, religions, creeds, all that stuff.
Well, I always try to do that with my work because, I mean, Honey actually, it was almost Kerry Washington that was Honey. It was supposed to be, well, at first, before I even got attached, it was going to be Beyonce, and but she couldn't do it or something. She was just doing her first big tour. And, I made it a Latin person because I thought, like you said, you thought she was black. I wanted somebody that everyone could kind of relate to, thinking she could be black, she could be this, because I always thought of Jennifer Beals and how I was like, well, she's black, but then, white people feel like she's white, whatever, but it was just kind of like she could be anything. And I wanted that to happen, and I've always been multicultural in my thinking because that's how the real world is to me. I mean, it's the world that I live in.
Right.
So with Beauty Shop, I mixed it up a lot. And I mixed it up in Addicted because the main character, the villain, Quentin Canosa, kind of villain, he's black in the book. His name isn't Quentin Canosa. I had to change it because I wanted a Latin guy to play him. I like to mix things up, definitely.
Right.
It's the real world to me.
Right. So what was that movie like? It was an erotic thriller.
Yeah.
So it seems like you're jumping genres here. How was it to direct a film in that genre?
It was like an amazing orgasm. For me. Because I've just I like all kinds of things we just talked earlier about. I love World of Warcraft. Right. I mean, I have 5,000 comic books. There's so many things I'm interested in that aren't reflected in some of the work that people have seen. If you do a dance movie as your first movie, people assume, like, I go into meetings at studios after I did Honey, and everyone was always, for years, they'd be like, so you're a choreographer, right? And I'm like, no. I can dance, but no, I'm not. I'm a director. But yeah, so you start, I was excited to do that film because I'm a huge fan of Alfred Hitchcock. I've been wanting to do something in that vein. And so it just showed a different side of myself. And creatively, it's very exciting. It gets boring. I have to eat, so I'm going to work. Right. I'm not going to, I don't have the luxury of not working or turning, I try to find the best projects I can, but if the only thing that I can get for a certain amount of time is going to be something similar to what I've done before, I'm going to do it because I support my family, I have things to do. But so it's very exciting to get a chance to break out as an artist creatively, and show a different side of yourself. So yeah, I was definitely very excited to do that.
Right.
Nice.
And then you still flexed your chops again with Drumline, A New Beat, or some people call it Drumline too. But it was a TV movie instead of an actual theatrical release. Why was it a TV movie?
Because that was where that's who wanted to do it.
Okay.
And they had the idea, and with Nick Cannon, I mean, he had the idea to bring it back, and that's who bit. I guess I never asked him why it wasn't theatrical, really. Because I don't really think that way. I think that I think about the story and about the product, especially nowadays, because a lot of stuff on TV is better than the movies that are coming out. I did a musical. I did a musical for Nickelodeon, actually, with Nick Cannon. I did that. He produced it with Kiki Palmer. Called Rad. So I don't mind. I like doing it. The medium to me, it could be TV, it could be small screen, big screen. I just love to direct. So it's more about what I get to direct.
Nice.
Right.
So speaking of drumline, we had a part of your cast here.
Yeah.
Some of the drumline guys, percussion guys.
Who did you have?
We have Dwayne.
Hi, Jeff, Dwayne.
My boys.
Yes.
And Rome.
And Rome.
Yes.
Yeah,
and they did say, they were like, oh, we love Billy. Thank you for giving us a job.
Yes.
They did say that.
Yeah.
They're great guys and all very talented. Yeah, and they're wonderful people too.
So that's the reason why it just came out. What projects or anything you have coming up right now?
I have a couple of things I can't talk about yet because I don't really know where they're landing. So I have some things that hopefully will happen, and outside of that, I'm also still, looking for work. I'm going to direct some episodes of Hit the Floor and some other TV. I missed out on doing The Game during its last...
Which is where I met you.
I know.
I did an episode, and Billy I was so happy. I was like, Billy, Richard was directing this episode? I was really, really proud.
Yeah, I was sad because they did their last 2 seasons all at once, and I shot them, and they're still shooting now, but I couldn't do it because I was doing press for Addicted and for Drumline, so I missed out. And I was like, wait a minute, it's going away. But yeah, you know, some TV stuff and there's some film stuff I'm developing, but nothing that I can really say. So I guess.
Right.
Well, while you're looking for that, just make sure you remember Megan, Cortez, and Kiki. So you add us to the cast.
Yeah, well, I know she can do it. I gotta see. I'm gonna put you on the spot, like you did me with that game.
Exactly. But
I'm not an actor. I can be like an associate director. I'm behind the scenes. I'm not gonna waste your time.
Well, you can deal with casting too, because you find those stars.
There you go.
Before we wrap up, I just wanted you to say hello to this young lady. She says that she was crying because she wanted to meet you at the meet and greet in New York. She had tickets and she could not go, so her name is Erica with a CK. So she just wants you to know that.
Where's that on Twitter?
No, she once we posted the flyer for the interview today.
Yeah.
She posted it and hit me. She's like,
oh, you got fans everywhere.
Erica CK.
Erica with a CK. She goes by. She says her name is Erica. Yes, with a CK.
Okay. Well.
So she was happy that we were going to talk to you today.
Yeah, I'll tell her. Well, I'll tell her. You'll give me her. I'll reach out to her. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Nice. So, and as far as social media, what can we find you at?
Bille Woodruff, spelled the right way that she said. It's just Bille Woodruff, Woodruff. That's my Instagram. That's my Twitter.
There you go, people.
And before we get out of here, what's one thing that you want people to remember about your films?
I want people to remember about my films that I make them for the audience to be entertained, to hopefully learn something, and to enjoy them.
And I'm sure they will for years to come. Yeah. Where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Kiki Ayers, KIKIAYERS.
Great. You can find me on all social media as well as Cortez G West. Make sure you also follow us on BHL Online as well.
And as always, you can find me, Megan Thomas, on Facebook, Twitter, and at Instagram at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream. Don't forget to follow Bille Woodruff, Bille Woodruff, on all of your social media. Go ahead and bother him on all of those platforms. Yes. And we'll see you next time right here on BHL Next.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Thanks for having me, guys.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.